And as you look at everything going on right now, right? And I know you've written a book. I'll get to that in a minute. I just want your open-ended general assessment, almost like Vince Lombardi's famous line, walking the sidelines on the Packers one Sunday, and he said, "What the hell is going on out there?" What's your assessment right now, Secretary Bernhardt?
Well, look, I think what the hell is going on right now is we are seeing the culmination of a failed administration. And over and over and over, they're failing on all fronts. You had a great segment just before I got on, but the reality is this administration has taken a radical approach to government overreach, and we're seeing the American people say, "What the heck is going on across the board?" And I feel that we're about to turn a corner and head the right direction. I am very, very optimistic. The courts are heading our way. Literally every day I pick up a newspaper, there's another court decision that says this administration is overreached. And we got to remember, administrations only last when they're headed in the wrong direction, 1,461 days. And we're in the downhill slide of this one, and I'm excited for noon on January 20th, 2025. That's the bottom line.
Secretary Bernhardt, when you were there at the Department of Interior, tell me about fighting the deep state, fighting the resistance within the department that you were the secretary of. How difficult was that to get things done?
Well, I had a unique perspective because I served 8 years in the Bush administration at Interior, and then I went back in the Trump administration. And the difference of the bureaucracy was so dramatic throughout government. And it really started on day one. The president, I think it became socially acceptable for folks to resist the policy ideas of the president of the United States. And in doing that, things were really, really difficult across the board. Now, we had some great things going for us, and these are critical going forward for the next presidency. We had a president who was willing to drive change and had our back. But what I lay out in the book is that really that effort requires, to drive that change requires competent leaders who are willing to accept responsibility, push hard, learn the facts, learn the law, and be relentless at driving forward and try and hold people accountable. And the reality is we were able, under the Trump administration, because of President Trump's leadership, we were able to move the ball dramatically. As a matter of fact, in Interior, I can say emphatically, we moved the ball farther in 4 years than in the Trump administration than my 8 years in the Bush administration. And that was because he was consistent on his policy direction. He was willing to lean forward when things got a little hot. He was willing to enable us. And if he was willing to enable competent leadership, we had a lot of pushback, but we also got a tremendous amount done in terms of energy, dominance, deregulation. We were able to take on regulatory reforms that hadn't even been touched for 40 or 50 years. And so he gave us that. And if you put competent people that are all on the same team in these places, you can move mountains. But you have to be ideologically aligned. You have to be pushing. You have to be competent. And you have to be relentless of having the courage to accept the responsibility and the accountability for the actions. And, that is really what I try and lay out in the book. You report to me accountability for the failed administrative state, that, it takes a lot, but with strong presidential leadership, competent people in these agencies, you can push forward. And I'm really excited about the next administration because, frankly, I think there's an entire cadre of folks that served in the Trump administration that have exceptional experience and are going to jump back in there and fight like hell for this country. And I think that's desperately needed.